Head over to miniaturemarket.com. They have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Catan 25th Anniversary Edition. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. It's hard to believe that 25 years ago is when Settlers of Catan came out. Now people just call it Catan, but man did it really solidify board gaming, and it started sort of the golden age of board games. And so now 25 years later there is a 25th Anniversary Edition coming out. So let me just show you what comes in this new edition and then talk about, well, who should get this and maybe who shouldn't. I'm not going to show you an overview or how to play Catan. I've already done a review that does that, so if you're looking for that, click the link in the description below to get there. Otherwise, let's take a look. I'm not going to give you an overview of how to play Catan. If you want to see that, you can click the link below, which shows the review that I did on the original Catan. This is just going to show you the things that are in the 25th Anniversary Edition. Now, one of the things that's specific to this 25th Anniversary Edition are the pieces. Now, first of all, there's enough to play with 5 or 6 players because the 5 or 6 player expansion is built into this edition, but the pieces themselves are painted with a sort of a glittery paint. Now, when you look closely, you can see it when it shimmers off the lights, but it's kind of a subtle thing. When they're down on the table, you don't really notice it, but if you look at it in certain light, you can tell that it's definitely glittery, but that's one of the things that's special about this edition. Now, a couple other things that are specific to this edition are the dice. They're custom dice where the pips are essentially the hexes of the Catan, and the robber is a wooden robber, but it's also painted with that glittery paint. Now, this also comes with 2 card trays to hold both the cards of the resources and the development cards. It also comes with sleeves, 160 of them, 80 in each of these packs, and you can see this card here when the light there, when that light hits it, you can see that this one is sleeved like that. So if you want to sleeve your cards, this is definitely the edition that it comes with, and you can do that. Now, the tiles come with the most updated art. I think they updated it in like the 5th edition. So if you have an older version, this is what you would get if you got the newer version, the artwork here. So you can see if yours is the same as this or if it's older. Another thing included in here are the helper scenario little mini expansion. Now with these, everyone's going to start with one of these helpers. You'll get them depending on your turn order during setup, and each of these will give you a special ability that you can use. And when you use it, for example, let's say you have Gene. Now you only ever have one of these in front of you at any given time, but let's say you have Gene, and then on your turn you can choose one resource type, and you can exchange that resource type for the supply for a 2-to-1 rate as often as you like during this turn. Then you can either keep Gene and flip over to the red side, or you can exchange her for one of the ones that are out in the display. So at most you're going to use one twice, and then it's going to have to be exchanged with another one that's out in the display. Now, depending on how many players there are, there'll be some of these mixed into here as well, but they're going to be sort of moving around. People are going to be exchanging, and so you're able to sort of get an ability that you want and be able to use it up to twice before exchanging it back in, but they do all sorts of different things, gives you some more strategy in the game. And if you're curious what the rest of these do, feel free to pause and read through them yourself. And that is pretty much it for what comes in this. Now here's the insert. Again, it has the spots for all the different pieces. And again, for each of the ones, you're going to be getting the roads, the settlements, cities, things like that. Again, that glitter paint. And you've got spots for those. Now there are some small baggies. You can put these all in little baggies. Put the baggies in here. I just have them off so you can see the components better. Your place for the tiles, the dice, the wooden robber, the pieces, the round numbers for 2 to 4 players, and then the ones if you're going to play with 5 to 6 players, because remember, this plays up to 5 or 6 players. It has that expansion built in. Basically allows you to build a bigger map. To accommodate that. It comes with more cards to be able to accommodate that. The card trays go in here, and then all the other pieces like the helpers that I showed you, the longest road, the different player aids and such go in down here. So that's pretty much it, the 25th anniversary of Catan. All right, well, there it is. So who should get this and who maybe shouldn't? Well, we've got the 5 to 6 player expansion that I showed that's there. We've got the helper scenarios, which are also still, you can get out elsewhere as well. You get the card trays and sleeves, which, okay, there's there. Then you've got the specific things like the glitter painted wood pieces and the custom dice that are in this edition only. So let's talk about value. So the standard edition today, if you looked at miniaturemarket.com, who is my sponsor, if you look on there, the original is $50, and this 25th Anniversary Edition is $64, so $14 more. Now, if you look at just the 5 to 6 player expansion, that alone is $27, and the Helper expansion is $7. So you're talking, you know, $34 more dollars, but you're only paying $14 to get it here. So if you don't own Catan, $14 more. Now, if you don't own it, if you think you're gonna ever play with 5 to 6 players, or you want those helper cards, or you like sleeves, things like that, then it's kind of a no-brainer to get this edition. Now, personally, I like it best with 3 or 4 players. 4 is the best. 5 or 6, for me, the game runs a little long for what it is, but some people really love to play with that many people. So if you don't own it, I think if you're, you know, it's a good one to get if you think you might want the 5 to 6 player, because then you're getting everything at once. If you don't want to play 5 to 6 players ever, and then maybe you could get the cheaper version. If you really want the helpers, then you could just spend the $7. But again, you're getting the sleeves and the trays and things like that too. So if you don't have Catan, it's a pretty good value, I think. If you already have Catan, I think this is going to depend on your version. If you have an older version, specifically one before they redid all the artwork, which I think was in the 5th edition, then this might be, and you have the 5 to 6 player expansion, and you like to play with that many people, then that's kind of a no-brainer. Like, it's a good time to upgrade, because you're getting all the new art, you're keeping the expansion, you're getting the helpers, you're getting the sleeves, you're getting the trays. Again, if you have the newer edition that has some of the newer artwork from, you know, around the 5th, 4th edition, and you don't play 5 to 6 players, nor do you want to, then I don't think you need this. I think this is better for newer players that don't have to spend that much more, just in case they want to play with 5 or 6 players and they like the glittery pieces. Now those, again, as I showed in the lighting, it's very subtle. Like, if I didn't tell you those were painted glitter, you might not be able to tell. You could just be able to tell they're a little bit more shiny than normal. So that's a cool thing too, but you know, it's not gonna make you spend $14 extra for it, right? So it's a tough one. I think it's gonna depend on you, but hopefully the expansion is the biggest thing. If you wanna play 5 to 6 players, it's kind of a no-brainer to get this. If you aren't, then it really gets a little dicey, because you can get those helpers for $7 on their own, right? If you have the newer artwork, then I don't think you need it. So hopefully this has helped you, whether you have or don't have Catan, and which version you have, and what your play style like is, what your player count is like. Hopefully this will help you divide, you know, should you get this or not. And that is the 25th Anniversary Edition of Catan. Personally, for one that's this big, I would have hoped for a little bit more exclusive things that were never out before to do this. I mean, custom dice and the glittery is the only thing that's absolutely brand new here. And for 25th edition, I think they missed some opportunities here, but I think for some people it's still going to be a good value. And that's the 25th Anniversary Edition of Catan. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board gameplay, helping you on the next one you'll love. Lucky Duck Games has 4 new games available now. In the Court of Miracles, you lead a guild of beggars, scheme with sinister plots, and use trickery to build your own renown in an attempt to take over 16th century Paris. Baron Voodoo is an abstract strategy game involving the collection of thematic soul dice, and it made my top 10 most anticipated releases at Essen's Spiel this year. Kingdom Rush Rift in Time is a tower defense with epic heroes that includes a campaign and an infinite replayability mode. It was hugely popular on Kickstarter, raising over $1 million. Chronicles of Crime 1400 is a standalone follow-up to the award-winning Chronicles of Crime, where you'll be solving 4 unique crimes in medieval Paris. These are all available in stores now, and you can learn more and order them at LuckyDuckGames.com.